cut that shit off. Sorry about that. Still learning how this stuff works. Okay. That was a pain in the butt just to get this started. Let's see how this works. Live chat. I can see that. Okay. Audio check. Check. Oh, it looks good. All right. Today I wanted to talk about, instead of making a video on it, I figured I might as well get a little bit of practice and talk about the reopening of Pennsylvania. A lot of counties here in Pennsylvania are going off of Governor Wolf has lifted, or will lift later today, should already be effective, the stay-at-home orders for certain counties in Pennsylvania. I'm going to go ahead and go through what counties is he going to reopen, or I should say lift the lockdowns, and exactly what that details. So let's get this started. Hopefully all this is working. I don't really know how to tell because this is my first time. So bear with me.
We begin tonight with a major announcement from Governor Wolf. The stay-at-home order for Pennsylvania counties in the red phase that includes the Philadelphia region is extended until June 4th. Good evening, everyone. I'm UQ Washington. The order was originally set to expire at midnight. Tomorrow,
I believe that is an accurate map. We'll find out when I go through the documents with you guys. The red are the counties that are still going to be in phase red, which is whatever orders you have standing in your counties, they remain. So nothing's changing for you guys. But everybody in the yellow, we're entering the yellow phase of the reopening, and I will discuss that and the details about what yellow phase actually means and what you can do, what you can't do, blah, 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 blah.
24 counties will enter the yellow phase of the state's reopening plan. Governor Wolf says he will also announce counties will enter the yellow phase of the state's reopening plan. And the order was originally set to expire at midnight. Tomorrow, 24 counties will enter the yellow phase of the state's reopening plan. Governor Wolf says he will also announce additional counties that can enter the yellow phase. It's still unclear when southeastern Pennsylvania will move from red to yellow.
All right, I haven't heard anything yet. So I'm assuming Governor Wolf has not updated anyone in regards to what counties are going to be added to this list. He gave a press conference briefing. I want to listen to a little bit of that. Stupid masks.
Thank you for joining me. We're near.
In case you didn't know, those masks, it's a bunch of bullshit. They don't really, they're barely effective at spreading the virus. There's really no point wearing them unless you have the virus. But even in that case, this freaking virus is not killing as many people as they want you to believe, and that's just the way it is. I can prove that.
Nearing the 2-month
Hell, if you want proof, go to the CDC website.
Mark in our fight against the 2019 novel coronavirus. And so far, the public health aspect has been our #1 priority because there is nothing more valuable than life. Now we're reaching a point where we can more fully address some of the economic effects of COVID-19. An estimated 1 in 6 Pennsylvanians who are currently able to work do not have a job. Some of these Pennsylvanians have been laid off due to a temporary closure and will soon resume working, but many others worked in a job that has permanently disappeared. As businesses begin to reopen,
Check that out. Permanently disappeared. This whole lockdown, this whole virus, it is destroying our economy. It's not just people that are losing their jobs. It is jobs are being destroyed where they're not coming back. Especially a lot of little mom and pop stores.
walking a tightrope between health and economy. Though the spread of COVID-19 has slowed, we have not eradicated this illness, nor have we cured it. We anticipate many months to pass before we have a vaccine, and some current projections show a resurgence of the virus in the fall. We do not want to spend the next few months or next year cloistered inside our homes. We want to be able to resume working, going to school, going to church, and visiting our loved ones. We want to reopen businesses of all types, and we want to be able to do this with as little risk as possible. When this virus first arrived, we had very little time and knowledge to prepare. Now we have the gift of experience. We have better testing capabilities. We have a more robust contact tracing system in place, and we have a better understanding of the virus's transmission.
Hear that? A more robust tracing system in place already. I'm sure most people don't know what contact tracing really means. I never did make that video. I still plan on it. I'm just waiting for some equipment to come in that I've ordered in order to do better production quality of my videos. And when I make that video about contact tracing and I expose and inform the American people of what it really is, I want that video to be good because I want people to actually watch the whole damn thing.
To reopen our economy to its maximum potential, we will need to boost our ability to contain this highly transmissible virus. So I am proposing the Commonwealth Civilian Coronavirus Corps, a new program that will expand our ability to conduct contact tracing.
If you've seen my previous video, my last diary I made, I talked about the contact tracing teams. That's what Governor Wolf is talking about right now. They're just calling it a different name. Yeah, I'll explain it in the video once I make it. But it's for tracking people down. Basically, the loss of our freedoms.
Tracing and testing, and mobilize Pennsylvanians to do all sorts of things to contain the COVID-19 virus.
Mobilize Pennsylvania. Just like I said in that last video in my diary, it'll be people at the town level, at the county level, at the state level, all the way up to the federal level of these contact tracing teams. So he's talking about it already. I haven't listened to this before, so this is my first time hearing it.
The Commonwealth Civilian Coronavirus Corps will reduce our unemployment rate while making a lasting health and economic contribution to our Commonwealth.
Destroy the jobs, get people laid off, and now open up a whole new job industry for contact tracers. Now you have a big pool of unemployed people that will be willing to take that job. Interesting.
By maximizing our testing and contact tracing capabilities, we can contain COVID-19 without widely freezing the movement of Pennsylvanians. If Pennsylvania protects its ability to produce and sell goods and services, our economy will regain lost momentum. The Commonwealth Civilian Coronavirus Corps will not be a replacement for everyday hygiene, wearing masks, social distancing. Nor will it replace our health care and other workers who already play a vital role in contact tracing. We will likely still be unable to resume activities with large crowds such as concerts for fear of infecting an enormous number of Pennsylvanians at one time.
If you want my theory about why they don't want large crowds, and I really have any doubts that it has anything to do with this freaking virus, not from my research. I think it has more to do with the amount of people that are currently unemployed and that will continue to get laid off, and our food shortage, add on top of that, people running out of money. That's going to piss people off. And when that happens, because most Americans right now have this attitude, have a selfish attitude. So why wouldn't you want large crowds? Riots? Unrest? Makes sense, don't it?
But effective containment will allow us to resume life as much as possible. We have slowed this virus through shared sacrifices, and we have bought precious time. We need to now use that time effectively by building a program that will allow our Commonwealth to function as much as possible while we wait for a vaccine. And we need to regrow our economy. The Commonwealth.
I want to say one thing. This whole vaccine thing, that's a bunch of crap. If they wanted a vaccine, I believe more than likely they already have a vaccine. But if they don't have a vaccine, which I highly doubt, they would have made one by now. Like, it's not hard to make vaccines, all right? When I was in the military, and what was it? It's one of the outbreaks we had. I think it was a swine flu. I believe that was the outbreak that happened while I was in the military and I was stationed overseas. They made a vaccine for that real quick. So, it's a bunch of bull crap. And I'll tell you one thing, I'll let you in on a little secret. When I was in the military and we had that virus outbreak, freaking swine flu, I believe it was swine flu. It was around the year 2000, 2008, 2009. So whatever outbreak we had then, and I don't believe this is classified, so I can talk about it. The vaccines they talked about, I remember being overseas and watching the news, and they told the American public that, you know, they don't have a lot of the vaccine made and stuff. And they weren't being too honest with the American public. Us soldiers, we all got the vaccine long before the freaking American public did. Government officials got it. All the vital people it takes to run America, to defend America, got the vaccine first. After we all got it, then the American public got what was left over. So, little interesting note there.
Civilian Coronavirus Corps is my plan to do this, and I will continue to unveil aspects of this plan in the coming weeks. In the meantime, thank you for your patience and thank you for your continued support as Pennsylvania continues to work together to get through this crisis. Now, before I turn this over to Secretary Levine, I'd like to extend a special thank you to community health nurses in honor of World Nurses Day. As we reopen our Commonwealth, we will increasingly rely on community health nurses who form the backbone of our contact tracing program.
Hear that? They will form the backbone. I said that in my my Diary 15 video, that it will consist of your doctors and nurses.
Community
I know what the hell I'm talking about.
health nurses have always been essential to the health and well-being of Pennsylvanians. And now they're even more important, and they deserve the gratitude from all of us. So on that note, I'm going to turn it over to Secretary Levine now for her daily update. Secretary Levine.
Who the hell is Levine? Ew, put the mask back on. Oh no. I can't look at her. Or him. I don't even know what it is.
Thank you, Secretary. Our next question is for the governor. Governor, from Spotlight, PA, what is the timeline for hiring the Coronavirus Corps, and how many people are you going to hire?
I'll be giving more details as we move out. At this point, we don't know, but to have an impact on the economy, we want this to be a big deal. Again,
Have an impact on the economy. That means they're going to hire thousands of regular people. God, I hate this contact tracing. I can't wait to expose it. Oh, I can't wait. Just hopefully I don't get kicked off YouTube when I do it. Because it's going to be a whole freaking army, man. Just like I said in my video, it'll be in every state, in every town, in every city. That's why he just said.
And the point of this is to create a core of trained folks who are ready and able, have the skills we need them to have to help usher us all through.
Here's the one problem with what he just said. The skills that they plan on training them, I've already read it in the documents, in the contact tracing team documents. Those skills that he says they're going to train them, let me tell you something. It never mentions anything about training the contact tracers, and the contact tracers are just going to be your normal everyday people that are in your town and in your city. All right, nowhere does it outline in those documents about training those people about protecting people's medical information. That bothers the shit out of me, because I don't want my next door neighbor being a contact tracer and having access to my medical records. I don't like that. But we lost our freedoms. You'll see.
Through the new environment that we're going to be facing as we get into this post-pandemic world.
Also from Spotlight PA, how will the state pay for this through federal CARES dollars? And when will you be able to detail how the dollars are being spent?
The hope is that we can get special funding from the federal government for this. That's what we're trying to do at this point. Again, as this unfolds, we will produce, as we know more details, we'll be sharing those details.
Do you need legislative approval for the Coronavirus Corps?
At this point, no. I have shared it with legislative leaders, in fact, just today, and explained how we're going to be funding this. And I think they agreed that at this point there's no need for legislative approval for this.
No legislative approval. How interesting. I'm sure whoever's watching this, you probably don't fully understand what that means, but that's scary.
From WNEP, a photo making the rounds on social media shows a Senate staffer giving haircuts to lawmakers outside the Capitol. The photo has prompted a lot of comments claiming the hypocrisy since professional barbershops and hair salons are not ready to open yet. What is your reaction?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with this. I wasn't, obviously I did not get a haircut, but I think that question would be best directed to whichever Senate staffer actually did that.
From ABC 27, earlier this week, a state representative suggested your administration's lack of transparency reminded him of how Nazis or Soviet Russia conducted business. What is your reaction to that remark? And as a follow-up, he's not the only Republican lawmaker suggesting that your administration
Look at the look on his face.
is not transparent in the specific criteria for reopening counties, and lawmakers say you have not engaged with the legislature. What is your response?
Well, there are about three questions. I have actually worked with the legislature. As I said, every week we have meetings with the legislative leaders. We're continuously meeting through the Legislative Affairs Department, I think 7 days a week with the legislature. Our Intergovernmental Affairs Division is meeting and working with local governments every day, all the time. So I'm not sure that where we're not doing that. If there's a place that we should be working more closely with anybody, I'm open to that. In terms of transparency, I absolutely want to be transparent. If there are some areas where we could do a better job there, and I understand that we're trying to fight this disease, but there is no excuse for not being as transparent as we possibly can, and without violating, whatever confidentiality rules. So we could do a better job for not being as transparent as we possibly can, and without violating, whatever confidentiality rules. So
I'll tell you right now, he's lying. And how do I know he's lying? What did he do? And he didn't tell anybody. He didn't tell the press. He didn't tell a single soul other than those people who needed to know. And that was when he took our rights away, or when he closed down gun stores here in Pennsylvania. If you go all the way down to one of my when I first started my YouTube channel, I made a video where I was going to different stores trying to buy a gun. And every one of those stores said that they had a bug in the system. They didn't know what the bug was, but they couldn't process applications or do background checks. So in a sense, if you can't do a background check, you're not going to be able to buy a weapon. And I said something was up with then, and then it got exposed that indeed Governor Wolf, without telling the public, deemed all gun stores as non-essential and they had to close down. Now, it wasn't until I forget who. It was somebody in the Pennsylvania government, probably the AG. I forget exactly who, but they brought a lawsuit against him, and he was told he had to reopen the gun stores because it was a violation of the Constitution. You can't close gun shops because that effectively stops every person in Pennsylvania from buying a gun. So he's talking about being transparent. No, he's not. That's a bold-faced lie.
I want to be as transparent as I possibly can, and I think we've done everything we can. If there's something I'm missing, I'm always open for suggestions.
From Bloomberg News, how does the Northeast Coalition operate? Weekly calls with governors, Zoom meetings, something else?
We have occasional Zoom meetings. We just had one on Sunday. But the routine is that the senior staff members meet at least twice a week. Sometimes I think we announce publicly that we're working to pool the buying power of the 7 states to form a consortium to make sure we're doing everything we can to.
Yeah, if you didn't know, there's like little I don't know what you can call them. I haven't researched too much into this, but some of the states are getting together and forming groups. We have one here on the East Coast. I know that there's one on the West Coast. I'm not exactly sure which states are in it. And I don't, even on the East Coast, I don't know what states are in it. I know New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania are all part of whatever the hell that group is. And that group formed after Trump, I believe Trump, if I remember correctly, Trump threatened to like shut down Congress or something like that. And that got all the mayors across the United States in an uproar because he ain't allowed to do that. That would have, without declaring martial law, he cannot do that. So that's when they started forming these little like coalition groups among the states, just in case, and this is my theory, just in case we had to go to war with the federal government. Now, I'm not saying that is the case, but that's sure as hell what it looked like when I seen it, when I first heard about it.
To get the PPE, the equipment material we need to fight this virus. Also working with the institutions of higher education, research institutions to do more than we've done in the past to actually engage them to do research. And with, especially in Pennsylvania, our manufacturing base, we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to make the stuff we need. Again, by combining all 7 states, we have more buying power, more brain power to do the things we need to do to fight this virus.
Okay, so 7 states are in our little coalition, whatever you want to call it.
From WNEP, we've received calls from several viewers concerned about plans by a bus company to resume service from Northeast Pennsylvania to Philadelphia and New York City on Monday. The company says it plans to limit the number of passengers and take only essential workers. Considering that neither Northeast PA, the Philly area, or New York City has reopened, do you believe resuming this bus service now is a good idea?
From what you said, no, I don't.
And then from Fox 56, in terms of the decontamination systems, that you announced a program to give free decontamination systems for first responders and healthcare facilities. Why did you decide to do that?
Well, protective equipment, I mean.
Are you going to give them that immunity?
In terms of the facilities, no. We have been in conversations about
during COVID-19, and are you going to give them that immunity?
In terms of the facilities, no. We have been in conversations about making sure that healthcare professionals, especially those who are coming back specifically with the single intent of fighting this disease and being on the front lines, we have been talking about protection.
UNEP, Some businesses are opening in defiance of your shutdown order. What is your reaction to that? Are you worried that the dam is starting to break and you will see a lot more businesses reopen when they're not supposed to?
Yeah, I think there's a natural dam here, and it's not the government. I mean, we have the orders and guidelines in place, but really, to the extent they are ignored, is going to be a bad thing for the businesses. Because if a business opens and they haven't done the things, or we're not ready to reopen, I think they're going to have trouble inspiring confidence in their customers or their employees. And so
I will say this, I give props to Governor Wolf, at least in my county, as far as I know. Nobody's getting fined, nobody's getting cited, nobody's getting thrown in jail for violating any of the orders. I don't know about the businesses, because I know when they closed all non-essential businesses the first time, um, when did that happen? I want to say it was March 16th is when the first order came from Governor Wolf to shut down essential businesses. But nobody shut down their businesses for like 2 weeks until I don't know what happened, but somehow they convinced them that they had to. But at first, none of our businesses, at least in my town, in my county, none of them were listening. But I spoke to an officer that's in my town about enforcing the whole social distancing and all that crap. And I spoke to a cool cop, and he was honest with me, at least here in my town. I'm not saying this is Pennsylvania wide, but in my town, he was honest with me. He's like, we're not going to enforce it. Just straight up, we're not going to. Um, there's no laws. There's nothing like we can really do to enforce it. And I will give props to Governor Wolf because, at least according to his memorandum and the statements done by his website, which we'll take a look at in a little bit, um, Governor Wolf is not pushing for law enforcement to enforce it by force. He's doing it with the approach of uh, having the police inform citizens, like, hey, these are the rules, you should listen, you know, doing it in a peaceful way. It should be done, and not going overboard and citing everyone or arresting everyone and shit like that. So I do give props to Governor Wolf for that. There are some things I like that he does. There's a lot of what I like about how he handled this whole situation. And there's only a very, very few limited things that he did during this whole lockdown that I did not agree with. And the number one thing was trying to take away our guns. But I mean, that only lasted for 2 weeks, and he gave them right back to us. So
I think there's a natural restraint here, a natural constraint on businesses making random decisions to open ahead of their customers or their employees.
Our next question is for the Secretary. Secretary, from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, the second part of the question that I had missed earlier on reporting deaths. Has the state taken a look at the overall death?
all right, enough of that crap. Let's go take a look at exactly what counties are reopening, or at least entering the yellow phase. All right, the heck. Department of Health cases in Pennsylvania. These are cases in Pennsylvania shown by counties. Stay home allowable activities. All right, where's that plan at? All right, phased reopening. I'm going to discuss a little bit of what phased reopening is. Right now, there are 27 counties in Pennsylvania that, as of today, have entered into yellow phase. The majority of Pennsylvania is still in red phase, which means nothing has gotten lifted for you all. You still have the stay-at-home orders. Everything that was in place is still in place for you guys. So, Pennsylvania plans to proceed with returning to work cautiously. Broad reopenings and reopenings that are not structured around ongoing social distancing, universal masking, or other public health guidance would likely result in a spike of cases and new stay-at-home, whatever, propaganda. Wish they would say the truth. Red phase. The red phase, which currently applies to the whole state, has the whole. It doesn't apply to the whole state right now as of today. They got to update this website. I don't need to go over that because if you live in Pennsylvania, you already know the rules. Yellow phase. As of today, this is effective for today, and it's only effective for these following counties. Effective 12:01 a.m. So it's okay. It is effective as of right now. Bradford, Cameron, Centra, Clarin, Clearfield, Clinton, Crawford, Elk, Erie, Forest, Jefferson, Lawrence, Lycoming, McKean, Mercer, Montour, Northumberland, Potter, Snyder, Sullivan, Tioga, Union, Venango, Warren. Sorry if I messed up your county name. Some of them I've just read for the first time ever. So those are the only counties right now that have entered into yellow phase. If you do not live in one of those counties, you are still locked down. All the rules still apply to you. If you live in one of those counties, the following is what applies to you now as of today. All right, work in congregation settings restrictions. Telework must continue where feasible. Businesses with in-person operations must follow business and building safety orders. So the whole universal masking thing will still be in effect. Businesses will still have to wipe down their shit. You know, all the protocols that are in place right now in the state of Pennsylvania. So child care open, complying with guidance. So child care will be reopening. Congregate care and prison restrictions in place. So still no visiting jails. Or like nursing homes and whatnot. Schools remain closed for in-person instruction. None of the schools are going to reopen until next year. So, I mean, just forget about that. All right, social restrictions. Here we go. Stay at home order lifted for aggressive mitigation. You can leave your house again. Hint, you could always leave your house if you actually read his orders. It basically did not restrict you to staying at home. People that live here in Pennsylvania that don't do their research and that did not go and actually look up the memorandum for the social distance, or I mean the stay-at-home order memorandum signed off by Governor Wolf. Those who did not read that thought that they had to stay home. When in fact, if you read it, there are so many exemptions to it. It's ridiculous. It basically meant you don't have to stay home. I mean, you could go for a walk. You could still go to the park. You could still go jogging. You could still go visit people, but there were restrictions on what people you could visit and for what reasons. But again, all you had to say is I was helping a family member, and you could have went and visited a friend. It didn't matter. Like I said, Governor Wolf is being cool about enforcing it, and he didn't really have the police force, as far as I know, enforce it to the degree where he would arrest people and whatnot. So, in-person retail allowable. Stores can open up, which is great because I'm getting tired of having almost every store in my town closed. That's getting ridiculous. So, stores are going to open up in the counties that are in yellow phase. Indoor recreation, health and wellness facilities, and personal care services such as gyms, spas, hair salons, nail salons, and other entities that provide massage therapy. And all entertainment such as casino theaters remain closed. So not everything's opening, but at least all the little mom and pop stores can reopen. Just not the luxury or not the places you would go to basically relieve stress like gyms and spas, and for the women out there, hair salons and nail salons. I know y'all love doing that, according to my female friends. It's a stress reliever or something. I don't know. Restaurants and bars limited to carry out and delivery only. Since I haven't been to a bar in years, I don't know if any bars actually shut down in my town. I'm sure they did though. All businesses must follow CDC and DOH guidance for social distancing and cleaning. Monitor. All businesses must follow. Okay. I was about to say that shit better not apply to me. I was like, I ain't gonna listen to the CDC. They got no jurisdiction over my ass. Monitor public health indicators, adjust orders and restrictions as necessary. So there we go. If you're just now tuning in, again, that applies to the following counties in Pennsylvania: Bradford, Cameron, Centra, Claren, Clearfield, Clinton, Crawford, Elk, Erie. Here, they're right here. Pause the damn video and read it yourself. I don't feel like reading that again. There will be more. There should be more counties added to that list later on today, and that will be announced by Governor Wolf. If you're not in those counties, you got no freedoms. You're still on red phase. All right. What else? What else? All right. Right now we got 52,915 total COVID-19 cases in Pennsylvania. And that's not much. Latest guidance: all 67 counties in Pennsylvania are under through May 8th. That's old news. Governor Wolf announces reopening 24 counties. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not 27, it's 24. It might be 27 now, though, because I don't know if they've updated this. No, they updated this on May 1st. So, the 24 counties that will move from red to yellow, blah, blah, blah. Decision process, I'm sure I don't need to go over this because nobody's going to care about this information. I already read it like 20 times. Just because I'm a knowledge whore, I need to know everything. So I have an understanding. Yellow phase. Here we go. More details in the yellow phase. As regions, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I should just read it. Actually, I'm not going to read it. Oh, can I not do this? No, I guess not. Yeah, there we go.
Defining the yellow phase as regions or counties move into the yellow phase. Some restrictions on work and social interaction will ease while others, such as closures of schools, gyms, and other indoor recreation centers, hair and nail salons, as well as limitations around large gatherings, remain in place. On Monday, May 4th, the Administra.
Administra. What the hell? The Administra. What the hell just happened? Alright, that's the last time I ever trust a computer to do my reading. The Administra. The Administra, according to the computer, administration will release guidance for business permitted to reopen on May 8th in these 24 counties, blah, blah. Work and congregation, read those already. Social restrictions. The previous page did not list this, but large gatherings of more than 25 people prohibited. So, at least you can get more than 10 people together now. Restaurants and bars, moving forward. Governor Wolf stressed the need for Pennsylvanians to now, more than ever, take personal responsibilities for their actions. Every human-to-human contact is a chance for the virus to spread. So more contacts mean a higher likelihood of an outbreak. In case you guys didn't know, now that the numbers have come out, and I believe Governor of New York, he was talking about this the other day, that according to the numbers, statistically, people caught the coronavirus because of the lockdowns. More people, it's like something like 90% or something. I might be quoting those numbers wrong because I didn't pay attention too much. But it's something like 90% of the cases in New York, and I was looking at the numbers earlier for Pennsylvania, it's basically the same thing. Most people got the virus at home. Public transportation was like, in New York, it was like 4% caught it from public transportation. Basically, almost all the cases came from the lockdown. They came from people at home. Goes to show you the lockdowns don't work at all. I don't know why anybody would think they did. I mean, shit, I knew that they weren't going to work once I seen how they started implementing them back in freaking late March. People would just do their homework. They would know this shit. It's ridiculous. Process of reopening Pennsylvania. Pandemic presented May 1st. Creation of public dashboard, blah, blah, blah. God, they have so many pages with the same information. Alright. Here's the amendment to the order of the Secretary of the Pennsylvania Department of Health to stay at home. I wonder, do I have to read this? Maybe the computer can actually read this correctly this time. No, computer's not smart enough to read this. As the COVID-19 disaster emergency in the Commonwealth continues, Governor's administration has developed a measure and strategic approach to allow Pennsylvanians to return to work safely in a manner designed to prevent resurgence of the virus. The strategic phased reopening of the Commonwealth will be done in the most effective, efficient, and risk-averse method possible to balance our return to economic stability, while at the same time continuing to keep Pennsylvanians safe by controlling the spread of the disease. During the phased reopening process, it is necessary to extend the requirements in my stay-at-home order. Oh, interesting. So it wasn't Governor Wolf that issued that order. It was this freaking Rachel. Interesting. I hate that girl. Whoever she is. Department of Health. What is she, the director? Secretary of Health. Recognition that such requirements may be suspended for specific counties as part of the gradual and strategic approach to reopening the Commonwealth. Yeah, that's why some of us have entered into the yellow phase as of today, and most have not. Therefore, on this day, May 7th, 2020, I hereby amend my order directing individuals to stay at home, dated April 1st, 2020, as amended. So it's just an extension of her stupid order. Amendment to order the Governor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania for individuals to stay at home. This is just basically Governor Wolf signing off on the whole stay at home, just in case anybody wanted to see it. There you go. Pause the screen, read the order, or actually take some time and go freaking look it up. So that's all I got for that. So, Pennsylvania reopening, or some counties reopening today. Somewhat. Some of the restrictions are lifted. So that's the gist of it all. So before you assume that you've entered the yellow phase, go back in the video, pause it, read the counties, or just Google it. Find out if your county is entered into the yellow phase yet before you decide to go to the park or something. I don't know. Do your homework. As far as the universal masking, I do want to say this. I really don't, because I don't want them to change it. God forbid if somebody from the government's seen this, they would go make the corrections I point out, and then nobody could use it as an excuse in the law. So should I say this? Yeah, I don't think I will. Hold on, I got a text message. I'm waiting on a bunch of packages to come in. I really hate my phone. It sends me the same text multiple times. It's like, this package has arrived. Yeah, it arrived yesterday. And you've already told me like 3 times already. So, anyways. Yeah, Pennsylvania opening back up. It's dope. Um, I don't even know if anybody's watching this right now. How the hell do you check that? Hello from New Mexico. Yeah, nobody's watching right now. I guess there were people in here. So, I think I'm gonna do more of these live streams. This way I can break down my thoughts and whatnot to inform the public, and you guys can ask me questions. I'm realizing that I gotta buy another screen. You can't do this YouTube crap and streaming without two separate screens. I'm starting to realize that as of today. Just having to switch back and forth between tabs and programs, it's not efficient. So I think I'm gonna go drop a few $100 and buy another screen. This way I can do these live streams a lot more. So, anyways, thank you for watching. And let's see if I can figure out how to shut this down.